Welcome to Lesson 12, Exporting and Saving Files. In this video, I'm going to take you through the process of creating a logo, varying a little bit from what you see in the book, just because I want to show you other methods that you can use. So I'm selecting File, New, and I'm creating a new document using the Print Profile, and I'm also making sure that I have units set to points, and then I click OK. I'm going to create a shape in here. Perhaps somebody gave me a logo that they want me to recreate as a vector object. In order to do that, I am selecting File, Place, and looking for the JPEG that they provided to me. You have a JPEG in your additional files for Lesson 12 called AI1201.jpg. Choose to place this, and when you click on the item, make sure you do not click on Place right away, because I want you to click on Template first. By clicking on Template, Illustrator automatically creates a new layer for you, one for working and one as a locked template that has your artwork in there so you can't bump it or move it or rearrange it. If I double click on this template layer, you see that it is automatically dimming my images to 50% and locking that layer. I also have a new layer that works like tracing paper so I can recreate my artwork. I'm clicking on that now, going to my ellipse tool, and I'm holding down my Option or Alt key and clicking on the center of this circle. Now, if I hold down the Option or Alt key and the Shift key, I can create a circle from the center. And I want to get a circle approximately the same size, and then make sure that my fill is none and I have a stroke. Now, I'm going up to Window and I'm selecting Appearance. I'm going to pull this out so you can see it a little better. I'm selecting just the stroke to apply a transform to. I'm going under Effect, Distort and Transform, and selecting Transform. I'm turning on Preview, and I'm changing these values. I'm setting the horizontal movement to 43 points. I'm changing the angle to 60, and I'm adding 5 copies. Now, how do I know 60? Well, I started with one circle. And I know that I'm adding 5 more, which means I now have 6 circles. And if I want them to end up evenly, they must meet up with 360 degrees. So 6 times 60 equals 360. And when I click OK, I have a perfectly aligned rotated circle. Now, I'm going back to the Appearance panel and I'm duplicating this stroke by making sure that I have it selected and click on Duplicate Stroke. I'm opening this up a bit so I can see that second stroke, and I'm clicking on Transform. So I'm setting that value to 21 and -38, 60-degree angle, and only 1 copy. Preview that. You can see it's creating a circle in the middle, and click OK. Now I'm going to expand this because I can only really select this one object right now. And so I just click and drag to make sure I have it selected, and I'll select Object, Expand Appearance, and voila, there I have the whole shape that's been broken down into vector shapes. I next want to apply some color to this. And in the book, we take you right into a color guide. I want to show you something that's a little bit more fun and takes you right in. I'm going over to the Live Paint Bucket tool, which is hidden under the Shape Builder tool. I want to apply color to the shape, but the first thing I want you to notice is that if you go to your swatches panel and drag it out, you have colors in your swatches, which is a little different than what we have in the book, and that's because we started with a new default document that had colors in the swatches, where if you follow the book exactly, you open a JPEG file which does not have any default color swatches in it. So we're going to take advantage of these color swatches. And what I want you to do, first of all, is just take that Live Paint Bucket tool and just click once on your shape, and that turns that into a live paint object. I want you to notice that if I select a color up here, so I'll start with red, you'll see that I also have that color underneath the arrow in my Live Paint Bucket tool. And so right now you see red is selected, and if I click and you see that little arrow, it fills that shape with red. But I can press the arrow to the right to go to the next color, or I can press the arrow to the left to go back to a previous color. But notice what's happening when I press those arrows. Look at the swatches panel. It's just moving down the line, choosing the next color in the swatches. So I can quickly and easily fill this shape. I don't like that color. We'll change that there a little better. So I'm just going to go through pressing the arrow and filling these shapes, and you can do that with yours as well. Now the reason I did this is because now you can see a little bit better the changes I can make with the color guide. Perhaps I'm working on this logo and the client wants to see different variations of color. I clicked off, so it's no longer selected, and I'm selecting a base color. I'm going up to color guide, and you'll notice that I have the opportunity to edit colors. Now before I click on that button, I'm now selecting this shape, clicking on edit or apply colors. And you'll see that I can choose from that base color a whole bunch of other harmony rules that are created from that base color blue that I selected. Now what you can also do is choose that you want to limit your colors to a color book, and maybe you want to use only Pantone solid coded colors. And when I do this, you'll notice that when I double click, I can select Pantone colors, and I can transfer these colors, like for instance orange to the blue and the green to the pink, but I can change what colors those are, and I can even limit them to maybe 3 colors. If you like any of the combinations under harmony rules, you can also select these and then click on new color group to add them to your swatches panel. I'm going to click OK, and you'll see that those colors have now been added. Now let's consider how we're going to save this logo. If you are using this logo in any other Adobe application, you're most likely going to want to choose just to simply save this file. You want to leave it as Adobe Illustrator. You can also choose EPS, template, PDF, or SVG. So let me explain the difference here. Illustrator will work in other Adobe applications, such as InDesign, Photoshop, and other video editing applications. EPS would be used if you have special software needs that need to separate into an encapsulated PostScript file. Don't do that unless you have been told to save it as an EPS. An Illustrator template will save a version of your Illustrator file so that every time you open it, it opens as an untitled file, so you can't mess with the original artwork. PDF will save a PDF. If you file open from within Illustrator that Adobe PDF, it will work just like your Illustrator file if you saved it with all the defaults, or if somebody who does not have Illustrator opens it, it'll open it up in Acrobat. SVG is great to use if you're trying to save scalable vector graphics for applications or websites. Now I'm leaving this as Illustrator and clicking on Save, and you'll see a secondary window comes up. And I'm just going to leave this at the defaults and click OK. And now my file's been saved. If you're working with somebody who needs an image for the web, you can also do this. Change your artboard size. So you'll notice that I'm double clicking on the artboard tool, and I'm selecting that I want it to automatically fit artwork bounds. So I had to scroll up to select this and click OK. I'm then selecting File, Save for the web, and you'll see that I can choose from the presets that I can save this as a GIF, a JPEG, or PNG. Typically, you're going to choose JPEG, or if you need to support transparency, you might choose PNG 24, which I'm doing now. And then I can choose to save this. And you'll see that I'm saving my star logo as a PNG. So in this lesson, you discovered how to take advantage of some effects and also how to save your files for future use.